Howdy, howdy. My name is Simon. Welcome to this week's transformation training, turnaround training, Thursday training, whatever new name we decide to make up this week. My name is Simon, like I said, and I am so excited to show up here to be with you during this next, 45 minutes, an hour, and help train you, help you learn, help you see what's possible when it comes to closing leads to sales in your company. I've shared this before, and if you're new, welcome. I am so excited about this. I love doing these trainings, and honestly, as the CEO and founder of Structure, this is one of my favorite things I get to do. So just want to start out by saying thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for allowing me the honor to teach and to share and to provide value into your work and your life. And I don't take that lightly. So I am going to go all in. We're going to take this plane off, and we're going to hit a pretty steep incline, and we're going to ramp up and dive in. So I'm super excited for the content. Welcome. Today, we're talking about the lead to sale solution. And we've basically spent a month here diving into diagnosing disconnects between marketing and sales. And this is a culmination of a 4 or 5 part kind of mini series about this topic, where I'm going to summarize a lot of things that we talked about, and there's going to be new takeaways and new insights that you're going to see, but we're going to tackle 9 reasons why sales struggles to close leads from marketing and what to do about it. So during this time, I've done a number of trainings. You can find them all on YouTube or our website. I've trained our clients through workshops and conversations and models and reflections and reporting. So this is really just, I want you to know that this is formed from boots on the ground in the trenches experience with our clients, day to day, real time, right now, what's working, what's not, and how you can grow and improve and transform your company. All right, let's dive in. So your question here probably is, why does sales feel stuck even when marketing is working? This is the core issue we're going to tackle. There's a lot of components to it, a lot of layers to the onion, but overall, I have heard this over and over from our clients that come in and need some help and start working with us, is we have marketing is working, but sales isn't catching up, or the leads aren't converting, or why does this feel stuck? And this is a really sticky, challenging problem that we're going to uncover here. And what I want you to know, for what it's worth, you aren't crazy. If you have this challenge in your company, if you're fighting with this as a leader, not sure how to see it, what questions to ask, where to go from here, it's okay. You're not crazy. Welcome to the club. And we're going to tackle it, and it can be fixed. There are solutions and ways to solve this problem. And so that's what we're going to get into today. So if you are in this spot, I'm just going to unpack the situation. So I'm clear on what I've experienced. You're clear on what you're here for. And I think this will either probably make you feel like, well, this isn't really for me, so you can spend your time somewhere else, or you feel like this is for me. We are talking about the stuff I'm facing, and that's my hope. So the situation that you're against right now is that your CRM is probably full of warm leads if you have one, but the problem is that they don't seem to progress, and your CRM could be Salesforce, it could be HubSpot, whatever, exists out there that you use, or it could be a spreadsheet. It could be kind of a homemade CRM, or it could even just be a list of leads that you guys keep in a Rolodex. It can be anything, but the point is, you have a list, you have customers, you have leads coming in, people walking in, but the progression is slow. Or non-existent. Traffic or lead volume is up. So you've maybe got a marketing department or a marketing firm or a marketing agency, or somebody in your company that's doing marketing. They're sharing some numbers basically that leads are up or traffic's up. The problem is it's not really turning into customers. And so it's hard to believe the numbers. It's hard to believe the traffic or leads, or you get kind of into questions like, well, is it good traffic or is it quality traffic or are the leads good, right? Which are great questions to ask, but this might be the situation. So you've probably got a million questions around that, and that is okay. The other thing is prospects are probably excited by your marketing content. So if there's traffic and lead volume is up, there are people interested in what you have. Awareness, they're seeing, they're finding you, they're excited. But the problem is, like, when they land into a conversation with someone, it goes nowhere. They die, they ghost, or they move on to a competitor. Makes you want to pull your hair out, right? And internally, what's happening is you've got this finger pointing between marketing, sales, and maybe even leadership to marketing and leadership to sales and sales to leadership and marketing to leadership. I mean, it can be a really big mess, right? There's this like, it's your fault, or why are you not doing this? Or, they're not giving me good leads, or you're not closing the leads we give you. Like, this is so real and so, it's so challenging to navigate. But the truth is, you're really just not on a shared mission. There's not understanding. There's not a plan. There's not alignment. So we'll get into that. But this is probably something you're dealing with. Collecting leads from different sources because the systems aren't integrated. So, what we're really getting at here is you've probably got leads coming in from a number of places, right? Maybe they're walk-ins. Maybe they're phone calls. Maybe they're downloading a resource. Maybe they're filling out a form on the website. And, they're all coming in, but like, where? Where are they coming in at? How do we know how interested they are? How do we know if they're hot, cold, or warm? How do we know, are they like, you don't know anything, right? You're flying blind. So that's probably a challenge you might be up against. And the last one here is just money is going into marketing, but there's little to show for it in revenue. You might be investing gobs of money. You might be investing a little bit of money. The amount is not really the point here, but the lack of confidence is the point here, is that whatever amount you're putting into marketing, you're struggling to see the return. There's not ROI. There's not clear path to sale. It's just marketing money pit, lighting money on fire. And so that's honestly a really big challenge. So the real problem here isn't volume. You don't need more leads. You don't need more traffic. It's readiness. It's you're getting traffic, you're getting leads. They're not ready. And you know what? I'm going to kind of push on the bruise here a little bit because I care about you and I'm here to help you grow, is that you're maybe not ready for them. And that sounds crazy, especially if you've maybe even been in business for 20 years, 30 years, heck, 2 years, but you're like, we are ready for them. We need sales. We've been selling, right? You think you're ready, but the truth is you might not be ready. You might not be developed. Your systems might not be developed. Your handoffs might not be developed. Your processes might not be developed. They might be manual. They might have happened. You might get lucky. But the truth is, if you're struggling with any of these things, it's readiness. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. But I hope you do. I hope you do, because I think what I have seen over and over and over and over again is that readiness on the leads and on the company is both there. And that is the core hidden secret problem to tackle in this situation. And if you break through that barrier, you're going to unlock mind-blowing possibility. So let's keep talking about it and let's fix it, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to fix it. So I don't want to just keep talking about the problem. I don't want to just keep talking about your situation. You're probably sick of it. You've been sitting in it for too long. You're too frustrated. So let's get to the solution. Let's get to how we're going to solve it and what it looks like to solve it. And let me give you a quick glimpse. I have like 20 more slides and we're just getting started. So it's not a magic pill, and you're not going to find a magic pill. It's not one thing within your company that if you fix that, it will unlock everything. It's a sequence of activities. It's a series of solutions that when stacked, when systemized, when running, time, consistency, you're going to unlock momentum. Here's our roadmap to fixing this sales marketing disconnect. We're going to talk about the 9 reasons your leads aren't converting. I've come up with a good solid list of 9 reasons from everything I've seen that are likely one of the reasons or multiple of the reasons that you're experiencing. And we're going to tackle these and talk about them. We're going to unpack common solutions that leaders like you and me very naturally jump to that don't actually solve the problem, but make it worse and confusing and more messy and chaotic. And so how do we not only know why and fix it, but how do we avoid sabotaging or self-sabotaging the solution or the progress, right? That's really important. I'm going to give you a framework to align your entire growth engine, align this handoff, align this process, align this connect to move forward and create momentum. We're going to talk about a system to scale digital growth through that aligned execution, vision to execution, and how do we make that happen? System scale. So we're going to talk about how you can build a system to scale. Also, I'm going to tackle common questions leaders ask themselves and ask me about this disconnect, about this challenge, about these solutions, because you might have some questions and some of these questions on the list might be some of yours. So I'm going to answer them with raw honesty and vigor, and we're going to get into it. So what to expect from me as we move forward, basically just a few quick things that I want you to know. I'm here to give value. I'm here to go all in. I'm here to help you walk away today with something you can move forward with and solve in your business. I am going to provide an opportunity at the end for you to work with me. I'm not going to interrupt the content. I'm not going to pitch lots of things throughout this. I am going to share how I can help at the end if that's what you want. However, I'm going to give you ideas, strategies, systems, resources, more trainings throughout this, tools that you can use and run with regardless of, hiring me and my team, that you can run right now with what you have. So straight answers, clarity, value. I'm going to give you in the trenches talk. You already see this is what you get. And you're going to keep getting this is boots on the ground, straight bottom line, yet also visionary and transformational talk. Based on real experience. And we're going to talk about the real challenges. We're going to go deep. We're not going to stay on the surface and stay feeling good. We're going to tackle the pains and we're going to face the mirror. Okay. So last, ideas and clarity. So you walk away knowing your best step. I guess I kind of already said that, but really my goal is just to give you free value here. Big, fast value, as Alex Hormozy says, if you're familiar with him at all. But I want you to give you big, fast value. I want you to run ahead and run fast with everything I'm providing here. So let's keep going forward. Last, just a little bit about me because, I think people follow people, not businesses. And so if you're here and you're going to listen to me for an hour and you don't know who I am, I just want to give you a quick snippet background of who I am so you can know why should I listen to this guy? What does he have to say? If you know who I am or or you don't care and you just want the information, if you're watching here on YouTube, just skip ahead. Totally fine. No harm, no foul. But if you want a little background, here it is. So this is my family. We've got a couple pictures. We've got 4 kids. My wife and I, we are middle school sweethearts. We met when we were 11 years old. And this is us in Oregon at a vineyard that we kind of have enjoyed going. And I think that was actually a Mother's Day hike at the vineyard, which was fun with my wife. The next one is just my wife and I here recently, actually, with on a date night. And so we like to get those when we can. We're best friends. And basically, over the last 15 years, for me, I've been focused on helping businesses grow. And that's where I've been at. And you can grow business a lot of ways, but my focus has been on digital marketing, digital operations, IT, and leadership and vision. So I have managed digital marketing teams. I've built and sold an online course company before founding Structure. So I've seen, digital growth. I've seen company growth at a very, between SaaS, like software as a service, from manufacturing to creative agency life to online courses and coaching. And so I've experienced and built growth along a lot of ways. And honestly, you'd think, hey, they're all different, and tactically they are. But the truth is there's some really big common threads that I learned throughout all of them, that principles that really apply across the board. And that's what I'm here to teach you today. So I'm really obsessed with accelerating digital growth and ROI. I'm obsessed with accelerating growth and ROI digitally, business and personal. And so that's really important to me. I'm on a mission to make growth systematic and sustainable. So that's different than ad hoc, one-off, manual, burnout and breakdown, right? I'm here to help you build for the long term, exponential, asymmetrical, outsized growth results for decades. Decades, not days. Does that make sense? Like if you're looking to just make a quick million or 10 million over the next year, I may not be able to help, because what I am here to create is long-term, sustainable, systematic growth. And we've done that for clients, generated results, generated hundreds of millions of dollars across our clients, gobs of leads, and really delivered that. And it's awesome to see the growth stack for them. So last but not least, I believe business is personal and relationships determine results. And our whole team functions like this, and it undergirds everything we do, because we're here to partner with CEOs and growth leaders to help them think bigger and achieve more. And I believe that for you as a leader, you're going to see the most growth in your business when you're growing as a person and as a leader. And if you expect your business to grow without you, or you expect it to grow in spite or despite of you, you're going to continue running against walls and hitting walls and struggling. And I want to unlock that. I want to unlock that growth in your business by honestly investing in you. And so that's what I'm here to do, because our businesses don't grow beyond our own capacity and capability, not just time, but bandwidth, energy, ability, vision, mindset, belief. If you've got limiting beliefs and limiting vision, your company's not going to go beyond that, no matter how hard you try. So that's what we're diving into. Enough about me. But that's kind of the rundown. So let's dig back into the content and really talk about this solution. Here's the real reasons sales struggles, regardless of marketing success. Number one, leads are too early, not sales ready. Leads are too early, not sales ready. What I mean by this is most leads marketing is giving aren't bad. There's a chance they are bad, and you definitely want to weed those out. So lead quality is a term, it's a thing, it's something to unpack and work to increase quality. And how do you know if leads are quality? Well, there's a couple layers. On the surface layer, you want to make sure the targeting on your ads or your marketing is right. If it's location confined, if it's income confined, demographics confined, and if the leads are coming through a resource or method like a PDF or a call or a interaction of some sort that's aligned with your core offer, the leads are good. The leads are good and they're real, unless they're just spam bots. Okay. So we're kind of unpacking this, but if they're obviously spam bots, don't look like humans, don't sound like humans, that's a different ballgame. And you can just filter those out for the most part. But if they're real people coming in through targeted means, then they're quality. Yeah, they are. But they may not be ready. And that's really where the trick is. And that's where it gets difficult, is how do you make them ready? And that's what we're going to talk about in this. So they've shown interest, but they're honestly just not educated, qualified, or nurtured into desire yet. And you know what? Part of what I'm going to share here is my own journey. And I think it's important to not only just share the truth and the experience and knowledge and the vision that I have from my experience, but I want to share the truth that kind of the shit no one tells you in a way, or the backstory too, is that like this is a real big challenge that we've had to overcome in our company too. Structure is marketing is this crazy industry that's full of quality and not quantity. And so when you start putting content out there, we start putting trainings out there, we start advertising, we start marketing, we start sharing information, agency owners are just like bait for scams, sales scams, because they're so hungry for leads. And I'm sure this is across other industries too, but I'm just sharing my story here. Is we've super dealt with this, and we've got lots of leads that are bots. We've got lots of leads that are real, but the truth is they don't convert because they're not ready yet, because we don't have enough content. We don't have the right content. We're not qualifying. So I'm qualifying hard here, because if you say you want to work with me at the end of this for any reason, like I want you to want it, and I want to work with you too. And I want to filter out, any disinterest, because I don't want either of us to waste our time. So, and you feel the same way in your business. You want great customers, and you want people that are worth your time, who are going to buy from you and who are going to appreciate what you bring to the table, whether that's a product or a service, right? Or a combination of the two. And the truth is that this happens through readiness. This happens through content. This happens in content being videos, website, articles, advertising, brochures, pamphlets, like anything that shares what you do, sales material, right? Emails, like without that, just peels back the curtain on what you're after and what you're doing and how you do it and what makes you special and what you provide and how beneficial it is. That's content. And that's what your leads need, so that when they land, they're ready. And when they land, they can get ready. Okay, this is all about preparation. It's all about readiness. It's all about nurturing and development and relationship. Okay, so what I want you to see here is you don't need more leads. You need more mature leads. I'll say that again. You don't need more leads. You need more mature leads. That's the key. That's key. Lots of tactics, lots of strategies. We're going to get into the system after these 9 points to make this real for you. But what I need to do is share with you the reasons first. And here's where we are. So number 2, marketing and sales aren't aligned. Marketing and sales are misaligned. There's no shared definition of success. There's not clear handoffs. There's not defined lead scoring. There's not, when does a lead turn into a marketing qualified lead into a sales qualified lead? And what happens is these MQLs, or marketing qualified leads, are dumped into sales lap without clarity, cadence, or context, and they think it's a sales qualified lead, an SQL. And so they treat it like one, and the lead ghosts or drops because they're not ready yet. Classic, right? So what happens is sales feels lost and marketing feels unappreciated, and everybody's frustrated. Yeah, sucks. So the truth is that the sales marketing handoff is just a gaping crack, a gaping hole, a massive chasm in most companies, not a clean baton pass. And I use the term clean baton pass because when you think about the handoffs between leads, between your marketing and sales team, between marketing members, between sales members, how does a lead go from knowing about you to buying? You got to think about it like a relay race. And we're going to talk about this, but like, what are the handoffs and how are we dropping the baton? Is anyone dropping the baton in there? And the answer is yes. And the questions are where and why? Where and why? Where is the baton being dropped? And why is it being dropped? And if you don't know where and you don't know why, you can't fix it. So that's what we're going to go after. 3, leads get lost in the mess. Between manual workflows, disconnected tools, and scattered processes, we're again talking about the dropping of a baton. So the trouble is that some of these leads that you've got are warm. They're warm and they could be ready, but they slip through the cracks, right? They might get dropped or lost. And then, honestly, sales reps don't even know which are hot or cold. So that doesn't even help in this process. So we talked about the handoffs and the baton. And what I want you to see here is your CRM isn't broken. Your marketing team isn't broken. Your sales team isn't broken. Your process is. And beyond, where are the drop-offs? Where's the baton getting dropped and why? What are the baton handoffs in the first place? Is that clear? Like, that's how far we're getting here. All right. 4, you're measuring activity, not outcomes. You track impressions, clicks, and downloads for marketing. So there's this basically like sense of, high level or vanity metrics when it comes to marketing. And this is probably what most marketing people are reporting on. And honestly, it erodes trust for leaders like you and me because it's so disconnected from results. We can't see. You're like, cool, like, wow, you got 300,000 impressions and $0, right? So it's super frustrating. And so, but the problem is, like, it doesn't give you what you need. Sales team also doesn't get what they need. They're not even getting readiness signals, lead scores, and the truth is that these metrics don't convert. And so I like to say, measure success in as many ways as possible. I actually got that from my running coach. He's the he's the global head of running, I think, at Nike, and his name is Coach Bennett. You can follow him online. He's awesome. Got a lot of cool mindset stuff. But anyway, and he wasn't my personal running coach, by the way. I use the Nike app, and he's on there. And so he can be your running coach too if you want him. But the point is that when it comes to running, fitness, exercise, he was saying, hey, measure success in as many ways as possible, because then you can start to see gaps, you can start to see trends, you can start to see where you're struggling or learning, and you can also celebrate wins. It's not all negative. Woo! When can we have success, and where is the success happening that we can stack on, right? Let's think about that and let's celebrate. So the point here is that you're tracking some things, but you're probably tracking the wrong things. And marketing is probably doing the most tracking, and they're not tracking things that sales and leadership need. Okay. Now, as a leader, it's your job to connect those dots or to get help connecting those dots. So we have a training on measuring success at all kinds of levels in a business. And I should have pulled it up. I got to figure out what it's called. I think it's called, I don't remember what it's called. But if you go to YouTube, you'll find it, or our website. But it's all about how do we go from tracking company metrics to department metrics to platform channel metrics to individual metrics to input metrics. And so you're bridging the gap between leading and lagging indicators, inputs and outputs. Like, it's an ecosystem. And that is really important to see that whole picture and to measure success in all the ways you need. So I think I've said that too many times. So I'm just going to stop and move forward. What I want you to remember is, if you can't trace a lead to revenue, you're just tracking noise. The key is that you've got to be able to track and trace a lead to revenue. So if you can't do that, that may need to be one of your top priorities. 5, content attracts but doesn't advance. We talked about this, is like, marketing creates attention grabbing assets, blog posts, videos, Creative is good. The ads might look beautiful. They might be seasonal and beautiful and on brand. Great. Awesome. But in a big old but, right? But they go nowhere. There's no strategic journey that pushes them forward. Like, they get the click. That is great. Step one, get the click. But then what? Right? So what happens is sales get stuck. And so what I need you to remember is like, your content gets the click, but what about getting a conversion? Because I'm not here to sell clicks. I'm here to sell conversions through clicks. Clicks are important, but it's only one piece of a bigger puzzle. 6, your sales team is chasing, not closing. Oh man, I love, one of our clients said this when I did a training just a couple months ago with them, is they said, we feel like we're chasing leads, like door-to-door salesmen. We're getting no's. Why are you calling me? You've called me too many times. And they're getting exhausted and worn down. And the truth is, they're not cold calling. They're calling what are supposed to be ready, sales ready, warm leads. But the truth is they're not. And so it's misaligned, and the sales team feels like they're doing the wrong thing. So the sales team is hounding what they think are warm leads, but they're cold. Or they think are hot, but they're warm. Does that make sense? They're not as ready. That's the point. Don't take it so specifically. What I'm saying is they're not as ready as they think they are. Instead of taking the warm, hot meetings they think they are, and they're wondering, why did these get sent to me in the first place when they're not ready? It's a great question. It's a great question. And honestly, it's not marketing's problem. It's both of their problems, but really it's a process problem. It's a leadership problem. It's an alignment problem. Why are they getting passed? Well, because the process probably says all leads that marketing generate go to sales. That's broken. That's broken because the leads aren't ready. You can't do that and expect sales to be happy, leadership to get what they want, and marketing to be praised. Nobody's winning. Okay. So what you need to remember is a broken system turns closers into cold callers, turns your sales team into cold callers instead of closers, which is probably what you want them to be doing. 7, too many tactics, not enough strategy, aka throwing spaghetti at the wall, aka what's the phrase? It's something about chaos and marketing. Gosh, it just slipped my mind. Wow, that was really not helpful. Random acts of marketing. That's what it is. Random acts of marketing. And this is a classic thing for underexperienced marketing teams, underexperienced marketing leaders, business leaders that want to see growth but don't understand marketing and strategy and alignment, is tactics, not strategy. So really what happens is that people in an organization jump to tactics, doing, action, activating based on tools and trends. Tools and trends. Boom, boom. We see trends and we buy into tools one after another. And those are tactical plays that aren't bad necessarily. However, without strategy, vision, alignment underneath them to make them last and sustain and systemize them, they don't work. So for example, let's put chat on our website so that our leader, like a chat thing on our website, so that leaders are, customers can come and they can chat with our sales team and we can convert more leads right on the homepage. Great idea, for real. Awesome. That's great. But if you just implement it, you find a chat, we're going to use like Ada, or we're going to use, what's the other one? A classic one like Intercom or something, and do that. And then we're going to send people to our sales team. You're going to find it doesn't work. You're going to find that really quick. So it's a trend, it's a tool, and it's a tactic. Can work with the right strategy. All right. Let me stop before I continue to repeat that. You probably understand. What I'm getting to is that it's not building momentum or compounding returns, and it doesn't work. So the point is that another campaign won't fix a confused system. Another campaign won't fix a confused system. Another tactic won't fix a strategic problem. Okay. 8, you're just misusing technology. This is one of the reasons, is automations and CRMs amplify what already exists. So let me say it this way. If you don't have a process, you're operating in chaos. If you apply technology to chaos, it's only going to amplify chaos. It's not going to create clarity. Okay. So we have a problem. Idea, let's build something. Great. You're going to build around a problem and you're going to create a bigger problem. Okay. So technology can't fix broken systems or create readiness out of thin air, especially if those systems, if those teams, if those people, if those processes are siloed or fragmented. I can't say this any clearer. If you see a problem, the point is aligning around a solution, not just slapping technology on it. Okay. Technology is a megaphone, not a mechanic. So important. So important. We've in your brain, oh, this is really hard. This is so hard to do. And if you can do this, you are going to go, you're going to take this to the next level. Is disconnecting technology from fixing, technology from activating, okay? Technology from solving. So technology is not a solution right by itself. Technology is a solution to a process or a system that already exists manually that's not very efficient. I don't know if I made that worse or clearer, but the point is, if you get it, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. If you're confused, we'll talk about this later. But this is so prevalent, and I just don't want to glaze over it. But I've probably hammered this nail enough. We've beat the horse dead, and I'm going to keep mixing metaphors until the cows come home. So let's move on to number 9. There's no lead nurturing system. No lead nurturing system. The truth is that data says 73% of leads need to be nurtured before they're ready to buy. So that means that basically 3/4 of the leads that come in are not ready to buy. Just call it an 80-20 rule. 80% of the leads in general need to be nurtured before they're ready to buy. 20% are going to come in ready to buy. Hey, that's great. You need to be able to separate that 20% and close them, and then separate the 80% and put them in a nurturing process. Most companies don't have a system for that. And this is where it gets really hard, is that 80% is all just lost opportunity, money on the table. And then it goes cold, and sales blames marketing, leadership blames sales, and it's just a mess. And we've talked about that a million times. So you get and you feel it. So leads don't just leak, they get lost. And a lead nurturing system is going to take you far. So here's the core 9 reasons, key insight. Until you, as a leader, address alignment issues from lead to sale and track transitions between the handoffs before you implement technology, right? Leads will continue to slip away regardless of how hard you try. Okay, that's pretty stark. That's pretty clear. And this is a call for you. This is a call right now to, I want to help you take you forward to address alignment issues from lead to sale. I want to help you track transitions and handoffs. I want to help you implement technology at the right time so that leads don't slip away and you're not trying so hard. That's the flip side of this. That's the positive, hopeful side of this. So if you want that, let's keep going. Keep watching. And we're going to talk about how that works. Here is how to align sales and marketing around a shared customer journey. I'm not trying to use crazy language, but it's like a road trip or a roadmap. Like, it's a shared experience between you and them. You've got handoffs laid out, they're a part of it, and you're aligned. How do you do that? How do you align that? Now, we use a system, a model called the relationship revenue model. And this is a system that aligns marketing sales around a common customer journey. Wow. Mind blowing. There's a way to fix this. Like, celebrate. Okay. So this is the model, and I'm going to share it with you. Now, the model kind of has a few parts. This top one, let's see if I can draw on here. Yeah, I always do this, and I never know if it's going to work. This top model on the left, this is the entire relationship revenue model. Okay. It's got two parts to it. It's first got the revenue expansion elevator. This looks at how a lead goes from hot to sale to high value. Okay. And we have to start there because it's where you ultimately want them to be. And so we're reverse engineering your sales process, your handoffs, your shared customer journey. This next part of the relationship revenue model is called the attraction pathway. Now, this takes a customer from free, from awareness, from just hearing about you to the first purchase, which is where, probably most of the conversation really needs to happen, and most of the handoffs need to get clear. But without both parts, without the revenue expansion elevator, it's unclear what the attraction pathway should be. And so I want to show you this entire process, and we're actually, that way you can see it. And I think what I want to call out or say that is important here is that vision, I believe, and I've seen over and over, and it's true, is that vision gives life. And so if you're struggling with something down here in your customer journey, some sort of like sales marketing handoff, we're talking about really happening in here. The problem is that you don't know what's up here. Mind blow. Hopefully, because you don't know where you're taking them. They don't know where you're taking them. They're never going to move from here up to here, let alone up to here, unless you map out where you're taking them, and your sales team knows where you're taking them, and your marketing team knows where you're taking them, and they know where you're taking them. But what I'm saying is, when these are aligned and you've got a clear roadmap, man, what's going to stop you? So what happens is that misalignment at the transitions between each of these steps is the silent killer of marketing impact on revenue. I don't have a slide here, but I'm going to share right here. Can I make this red? Yes, love red. These lines, these transitions between stages right here, this is the silent killer of revenue. These are where the handoffs drop off. This is where the relay race falls apart. Okay. And that's what we need to tackle. So what I want to share with you is another training. I don't have time to tackle it here because we're talking about the topic on a broader level, and it's a really great topic. But what I want to do is I want to point you towards a training that I did actually just last week called the Lead Leak Model. In that training, I give you, basically, I break down the relationship revenue model, each of these steps, how to think about it. I go deep on it. It's great. And I also give you a tool. Do I have a picture of it here? No, sorry. It's a worksheet that you can use to actually think and work with your team through finding the gaps and working through the relationship revenue model. Now, If you watch this training, you're going to get the resource, you're going to get the information, you're going to get the worksheet to do it yourself. And what you're going to be able to do is just get that breakthrough system that you've been missing. You're going to be able to diagnose the real drop-offs, and you're going to fix the leaks in your business. So that's my promise to you. And if you scan this QR code with your phone, or you go to wearestructure.com/LLM for lead leak model, you can see the training. There's a video, article, and there's the resources all included in there for you. Thank you, and you're welcome. I hope that's helpful. Also, in our workshops, in our services that we provide, we do this with you and for you. Okay, so if that's something you're interested, stay tuned, because we will talk about that, where you don't have to figure it all out and do it yourself, that we can walk you through it. And we'll get into that a little bit later here at the end of the video. If you want it right now, just go to the end of the video and you'll see another QR code kind of screen like this, where you can learn more about the workshop. Okay. In the trenches talk. If there's anything I want you to see right now, it's this. You don't need more tactics. You don't need more trendy strategies. You need a system that tells you what's working and that makes things work without you, in spite of you, right? So here it is. Here's a system that turns strategy into sales. Now, this system has a couple names. The Structure Digital Growth System. This is the system that is our proprietary system as a company at Structure that we run for our clients. So you bring us on. This is what our clients get. We install and implement our digital growth system into their business to run and grow for them, help them grow. And this system uses a framework, a process called the acceleration loop, to turn strategy into sustainable sales growth. Okay. Now, here is the acceleration loop. The acceleration loop is 4 phases. First, alignment. This is where you map your customer journey, you align on your goals and metrics. We get clear together. 2, activation. You develop a roadmap and infrastructure for your marketing team. This is getting the pieces in place so that it works. Roadmap and infrastructure. Think website, think CRM, think processes documented in an accessible place. Think follow-up emails. You create the system. Amplification. This is where you roll out and implement the growth strategies. This is where you are, your sales team is interacting, your marketing team is sending newsletters, your nurture series are going out automatically, your ads are running, your blog posts are going out, your podcasts are streaming. Like, that's amplification, putting it out. Acceleration is the step where you're identifying leakage and friction and making adjustments. Now, you can't just take off. You have to, while you're flying the plane, you have to know if you're on track to land where you want to be. Now, what happens is we often just think about takeoff and landing and forget about the flying. Classic. I do it all the time. Now, if we're going to land, hit our goal, landing, end up where we want to be, we've got to have indicators and markers to help us know if we're on the right track, if we're on trajectory, and if we need to make any adjustments in the flight plan, or if we're getting off track. That's what acceleration is about. And it's not only just about fixing problems, and it's not only just about making shifts, it's about stacking success, because there are going to be things that work and there are going to be things that don't. The things that work, stack on them, do more of them. And we want to know what those are so we can invest and reinvest more in them. We also want to know what's not working so that you can prune, so that you can eliminate what's not working. That's acceleration. And the truth is, it becomes a loop. And this becomes the digital growth system. It's a process of alignment, activation, amplification, and acceleration on repeat through cadences, monthly, quarterly, annually, where these cycles kind of repeat. And when you accelerate, what happens at the end, acceleration, the step 4, is you want to invest more and you want to eliminate what's not working. Well, what that requires then, is realignment. And so we have these check-in points built in for realignment so that you can then reactivate and reamplify and reaccelerate and just build momentum. And it really ends up, what happens is the cycle repeats, each loop builds on the last, and you get deeper alignment, stronger activation, smarter amplification, and sharper optimization. This is a snowball that's rolling down the hill, building momentum, getting bigger, faster, stronger. That's hard to stop. And that's what you want. You want it to be that. It's amazing. It's getting more packed. It's great. All right. You get my point. And what happens here is that when you go through these steps, this is the system. This is the system that's going to help you win. And it's not just throwing information at your customers. It's transforming your entire business and your customer experience and their lives. This is literally transformative growth right here. This is how you do it. Each of these stages changes the game. Alignment, what happens if you don't align? You don't have a shared strategy. Like we talked about, misalignment. After you have a unified growth map where the ball can go in the same place and everybody knows where it's going and we take it there. Activation, you have disconnected handoffs because the systems are chaotic or manual or undefined. And one person thinks this, another person thinks this. After you've got systems activated, integrated, and aligned, you've got streamlined lead routing. The lead doesn't get dropped and the team knows where to take it. Amplification, this is where you have attention without action. It's like we talked about where you're amplifying information, but it's not transformational for your customers. So what happens is when you amplify an aligned process or an activated process that's streamlined and it's aligned, is that you've got messaging that advances, that connects, that pushes people forward because they're going somewhere. They're going somewhere. And they're not just hitting a dead end or getting dropped off. Does that make sense? Like, that's so key, is that messaging that advances, getting messaging that advances relies on removing dead ends and drop-offs. And then you just tell them where to go. That's the key. It's not just trendy keywords and, saying the right things. It's about like clarity. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Acceleration, all about inconsistent follow-up before, right? Like this is probably what you're experiencing is like, it's just, it's inconsistent, it's fragmented. The whole process kind of falls apart and there's no way to know what's working, right? The benefit of the acceleration step and the acceleration loop in doing this is that once you have it in place, this step in the process, and you're running it on repeat, is that you are building systems, improving systems, continually improving systems that nurture and close, because you're closing the gaps. You're making sure those handoffs are good. You're making sure the messaging connects, and you've got data to tell you, are we on mission? Are we on track? Are we going to land the plane, right? This is what alignment really looks like. This is what acceleration really looks like. This is what transformational digital growth really looks like. This is why the system works when others don't, is because what you're running on the left is probably this thing on the left. It's a well that you're just pumping one. And every time you pump, you get something. Run a sale, run a campaign, hire somebody, and you get these pumps, but then as you let your foot off the gas for any reason and it goes away. On the right, you've got a flywheel. You've got a system that's pumping for you. You spin the wheel, and the point is you keep spinning. You don't stop spinning. It's just you don't have to spin as often, and it doesn't stop flowing, and it builds for you. And then, hey, I need a break, or I need to do something, or it doesn't necessarily stop right away, right? You're going to have to come back and spin it, but you get the point, is that it's more effective. Is that the system, this flywheel that we're talking about, is more effective. Activities flow smoothly one to the next. It's efficient. Each rotation is easier than the previous rotation. This is inertia. This is momentum, like we talked about the snowball. It's exponential. Is that each rotation produces more. You can see that you've got a constant stream of water on the right and an interrupted stream on the left. The point is that it's stacking and building and more. Okay. So this is what I want you to have. I want you to have this, and you can have this. And I think I've given you some tools right now and today to take and run with this from here if you want to, which is great. And I hope you do. I also, if you want to work with us and want my help, again, I'm not going to pitch it all the time. I'm not here to just pitch you. I want to seriously give you value. But we can help you implement this. I can help you implement this. And I would love to. But before we do that, I want to share a bit more. Okay. And I want to share about some of the false fixes that us as leaders kind of do naturally, reactively, that can backfire and self-sabotage the systems that we're building. I just want to address them. I don't need to belabor them, but I want you to know that they're here. And maybe if you can see them, you can work towards maybe kind of a mindset shifts that I'd love to help you see so that you can not self-sabotage the success and that you can stack the success. And that's the goal. How do we go from self-sabotaging to stacking? And these are just quick list, blaming the sales or marketing team. We've kind of talked about this, but like, that's not really the right thing. Just pointing fingers or, you know, blaming, it's not going to get you anywhere except for enemies and except for having to hire a new marketing sales team and having to really recover from being a dictator boss to a transformational leader. And there's a big difference. And transformational leaders empower their teams and their systems. And bosses kind of just blame their teams. And so, you know, I think if you're listening to that, hopefully that I'm going to say things that push on that bruise. And I'm here. I want to push you. I want to call you up to another level of leadership and growth that's going to take you where you want to go. And if you want it, we're going to go far together. You are going to go far. You don't have to want it though. And that's the thing. Like, you can close this video if you want, if you don't like that. But the truth is that we get in the way of our success as leaders. So you get my point. But let's keep going. Slashing the marketing budget. I've worked with a lot of leaders, companies over time that this is just a knee-jerk reaction that they have is, it's not working, we're going to slash the budget. Okay. Maybe that is the right move. But I think instead of just slashing the budget, I think it's better to ask, what should we slash? Because if you're slashing the entire budget, you're totally going to kill your lead flow. I would say it's better to reinvest the budget into learning what you can slash before you slash it. Okay. Like, what's not working that we can stop, save money on, or reinvest into what is working. That's an idea. Hiring more sales reps prematurely. The leads aren't closing. We just need more sales reps. The problem is you're throwing bodies on a problem and they're going to have more issues, the same issues, because you're not really solving the core problems. Switching CRMs or tools again. Okay. I'm just going to rally through these as like, technology again doesn't fix your problems. So like switching CRMs, building and stacking on tools to solve those problems is not going to solve the process. You got to solve the process. Pushing sales to just follow up harder. Again, you're kind of pushing your team into cold calling or instead of closing, right? And if you have a cold calling strategy, like, I'm not saying don't do that. If that's your strategy, it's working for you or has worked for you or is part of your mix, like, do that. And that's not what I'm saying. But if the strategy is they're there to close, but they feel like they're cold calling, just having them follow up harder is going to probably only push users away more and burn out your team. Hope that makes sense. So the key is solve the problem. Running more marketing without strategy. Again, tactics. We're going to throw more money at marketing and it's not going to work. Ignoring the follow-up system. The follow-up system is like lead nurturing is really what we're talking about here. Is what is the customer journey and what are the systems in place to make sure that they get followed up at each stage and the transitions happen smoothly, right? Now that's hard work. That's the hard work that nobody wants to do because it's strategic. It makes you stop and have to sit in a boardroom and think. And I get it. It's not fun. Fight with others, for your ideas. But that's the problem to solve. That's the hairy thing that needs fixed. And then just assuming lead quality is the problem, right? Lead quality may be the problem, but like we talked about, readiness on both sides of the equation is the other problem. So be careful to just assume or quickly jump to conclusions before validating the information. These are just my calls to you as a leader. Now, I also get a lot of questions, what leaders ask. Now, these are the questions, that leaders ask when growth feels stuck in particular. And so we're going to address some of those questions right now. Is marketing handing off the leads too early? Great question. Maybe they're handing off the leads too early. I think the before jumping to that conclusion that marketing is handing off the leads too early, the question is, when are the leads getting handed off? Because that can be proactive and reactive. You can decide that. And deciding that requires defining variables, defining unknowns, defining contingencies, which is a hard process, but it's what needs to happen in order to know where the handoffs should be. Define that relay race. And so it really comes back to what's that customer journey? What's the relationship revenue model, stages, steps for your unique business? And when are those handoffs happening? When should they happen? And a big key here is defining the leads. Is this a marketing qualified lead or a sales qualified lead? And what qualifies a lead as marketing ready and what qualifies them as sales ready? And that's a huge distinction that if you're not making that distinction in your company, start there. I mean, I would start with the relationship revenue model, map that out. Then within that model, take additional notes of when is a marketing lead and when is it a sales lead, if that makes sense. And then this is when the lead should hand off. This is when the lead handoff should happen. Okay. How do we know if these leads are even sales ready? Okay, great. You're like, Simon, I took your advice. Wow. Implemented it real quick. We've got it, we want to define it. How do we know if they're sales ready? Great question. They are sales ready when they have gone through the awareness, interest, and desire stages of your traction pathway in your relationship revenue model. So that attraction pathway is essentially, we've built our own framework around it and have a name for it because I think it's a great process, but it's really built on a framework called the AIDA model, which is AIDA model. It's a classic model. You can look it up, and it's really just a classic marketing funnel. And the stages are awareness, interest, desire, and action. And a sales ready lead is on the end of that. So awareness is we're aware of your company. Interest is we have interest. I'm becoming interested in what you have to offer. Desire is I actually desire to buy your product. And then action is when I am buying your product. I'm taking action, pressing the buy button, right? So that desire stage in particular, specifically, is that sales ready stage. So when a lead goes from interest to desire, that's really where the key handoff happens for sales. Yeah. And then it's sales job. So if you're just looking for the answer, that's where to put it. Of course, you can define this more deeply or specifically for your company, but that's the general answer. So, and how to know is when they are desiring what you have. They've consumed content. There's indicators. They've consumed content. They've talked to your sales team. There's usually some sort of action that would identify that. And so for us and for our clients, we usually identify an action that would indicate that a user or a customer or prospect is in each stage. And so, for example, an easy one is like a sales. If they book a sales call or they have a sales conversation, like they ask for a quote, that kind of stuff indicates like sales readiness, which doesn't mean I will buy today, but it means I'm ready to be continue to develop in the sales pathway. All right. How do we connect marketing activity to revenue results? Okay, great question. I'm going to look this up because I want to know what the training is. I'm going to look up the name. The growth mapping method. That's the training. Here's our website here, the growth mapping method. It's this training here. If you go down, here's the YouTube video. And this is really about fixing, aligning, and measuring marketing activity to revenue results. So go check that out. There's some models in there. There's training in there. And if you just search growth mapping method or go to Simon Villeneuve YouTube channel or wearestructure.com, you can find that. But you need different levels of metrics and to be able to measure that whole pathway. And once you have that, you can start to make those connections. I think in that training, the big idea that I share is that ROI, marketing growth, it's a system. Marketing and sales is a system. And marketing itself, business development is a system. And a system has inputs, processes, and outputs. And you need both inputs, indicators, like activity indicators. What are the things that we're inputting into the system? Like blog posts or social media posts or ads or emails. Like those are things that we're doing. Now, you need to know that those are happening. That's the inputs. The system is the platforms, the algorithms, the processes, the time and consistency. Like, how's our social channel growing in followers? What kind of views are we getting on our YouTube videos? How many new visitors are coming to our website? Like, those aren't inputs. Those are process and system, like platform level stuff happening, time and consistency. I still don't have a great term for that. I don't remember. I think I called it a system or process, but it's kind of just like what happens. It's like this process. So you got to measure that to know if the inputs are the right inputs and if they're maturing in that system. And then you have the outputs or the lagging indicators. And those is what you want, right? Leads, spitting out leads. Is it spitting out customers? Is it spitting out like sales? Is it spitting out growth percentages in leads? Like, you define your output metrics. See, and once you have those three levels, you can connect marketing activity to revenue results. And that's the trick. And that's really what it comes down to, is knowing all three of those levels and components and measuring them. So I would encourage you to check out that training and start measuring the success in as many ways as possible. And really, those inputs or outputs or leading and lagging indicators. And I think in that training, I also give away a free dashboard. So many resources here. I should have collected them all, but so many resources in these trainings. There's a free dashboard to help you track all those levels as well on your own. We use with our clients and we track for them. We report for them. We measure for them. Because it's kind of a tedious and technical process. But if you want to do it yourself, I want to give you that training and that dashboard template. So that's kind of my answer there. How many times should we follow up before giving up? That's so great. And, everybody has different rules on this. And, it kind of depends on what you want. So that's my non-answer is it depends. But nobody likes that kind of answer. So I'm going to try to give you something more clear. The other answer is that until they die, until they just keel over dead, chase them down. Which, maybe sounds aggressive. So maybe you don't like that. I don't know. That's kind of like the car salesman approach that I had a car salesman in a recent workshop with a client that works for this company, but he spent a lot of his career in car sales. And that was the rule, is just hound them till they die. And so we had a good laugh about that. But I mean, oftentimes we set a rule, or, you set a rule and you say, there are conditions. We follow up until they say no. We follow up until they ghost us and we don't hear from them for 500 days. We follow up until, they unsubscribe, which those things are true and should happen. And so it really depends. I think a key here is that we talked about earlier in the training is that 70 to 80% of leads need nurtured before they're ready to buy. So that's a big bucket of leads. And if your 8 out of 10 leads are not ready to buy today, but will buy in the future, the question is like, when will they buy? And I think a key thing that I've seen and found out and learned through both just data and from our client companies and our own company is it can take years. Like, it can take years for some people in that list, and they're not the majority, but it can take years. So I wouldn't set like a 90-day follow-up policy because I don't think people are going to convert that fast. I would do a year to 2 years follow-up policy, and try to automate that policy, that follow-up. It's not bad to have manual follow-ups, but don't set your team to follow up every week for 2 years. That's exhausting and goofy. There's got to be a way to automate that. And a lot of times the way that we automate that is through a automated text messaging sequence or automated email sequence. But even simpler is just a weekly newsletter to that big bucket. Just call it your nurturing list. Make a big old email list and, MailChimp or whatever you use, and send them a weekly piece of content like your blog posts or whatever is the most valuable thing that you make every week as a marketing team. Send that to them. Send them promotions, seasonal stuff. Make that just a communication channel. And hey, bonus points if you can do that on text too. That's great. But even just email, keeping them in the loop and warm and informed is a great way for a couple of years. All right. Is it even worth investing more in marketing right now? So if you're in this situation, like we've talked about today, there's a disconnect, it's not working. You're asking, is it worth investing more in marketing? You might be at a spot in your business where it's a little bit in transition, or you might be a spot in your business where it's unclear. The future is unclear. Markets are changing. The political environment's shifting. Your AI and technology is taking over and changing your business. So one of the questions is like, can we market right now? Should we market right now? And should we keep investing? It's a really great question, worth considering and worth asking. I just want to frame it up right, because the question is, if you have a vision for your company, if you have a 10-year vision, a 3-year mission, any 1-year goals, this is what we call it, a 10-3-1. This is one of the first things we do in our workshop with our clients, is set their 10-3-1. If you're thinking in decades and not just days, yes, absolutely. Because you've got to think about growth and marketing, not for now, not in the moment. You're not marketing for the moment. You're marketing for momentum. Save that, write that down. Marketing is not for the moment. Marketing is for momentum. I'll say it the other way, which is probably better. Your marketing is not for the moment. It's for momentum. Okay. Now that I've said that enough times, you're not going to ever forget that. And you might have even been like, how many times is he going to say that? But, it's very important to remember that. So if you're thinking decades, yes. But then the better question is, how much is worth investing and what is worth investing? How much is a hard question because costs and value is relative. So how much is not a great question because you could pay 50 grand, 100 grand, 500 grand, a million for marketing and get something or nothing. And it really just depends. So that's a really hard one. I would say, what is worth investing in? What are our goals that we're going to invest in? Is it worth investing in organic traffic on the website so that no matter what happens, we've got people finding us and aware of us? Yes. Yes. Is it worth putting money into ads so that we can drive leads, but we don't have a great offer? No, So if you are investing for the future, I'd invest in content, organic content, because that's going to build momentum and grow. Yes, please do that. Like, don't not do that. That's podcasts, that's blog posts, that's YouTube videos, that's building a list, that's emails, that's newsletters, that's like building for the future, creating content around your topic, around your products and services, around your ideas, around the problems you solve. That's never a wrong idea. But throwing money at marketing, just trying to build a social media platform, maybe that fits in organic, but like there's things that you could say, that's not worth investing right now. So it's more of a what question, but I hope that answers it and how to think about it. And like I mentioned earlier, the growth mapping method is such a great training. I'd encourage you to watch that and download the resource and kind of start playing with those ideas, because what is a really good question. And in order to say what should we invest in, you also kind of want to know what's already working and what's not. What can we cut and what can we not cut? Being able to make data informed decisions like that really helps you move forward confidence and clarity instead of just throwing money at something and hoping it's the right thing. All right. We're nearing the end. Reflection here. The questions are that I want you to reflect on. If you have the chance, just take out a piece of paper, write a few columns or heading on the top of a page, fairly informal and structured. Okay. Unstructured. But I do want you to reflect on these. What's holding you back from doing the real work? At some point in this training, I said, like, this is the real work. And I think it was related to the relationship revenue model, is like, we want to slap technology and tools and trends and tactics on things because it feels like progress, but it's not really progress. We're busy, but not building. Does that make sense? And I would invest in building, not busyness. So the question is, what's the building work? What's the real work that you need to do? And we talked about it today, so you should kind of know. And then the question is, what's holding you back from doing that? Is it fears? Is it time? Is it clarity and understanding? Is it coaching? Is it information? What is it? Then I want you to ask, what resources and opportunities do you have right now to help you move forward, to break through that barrier, to stack on growth, and to get some quick wins? Like, what is available in front of you? Like this training here, the lead to leak model, the growth mapping method, the relationship revenue model, the resources that we're talking about. Like, if you don't see anything in front of you, I just gave a bunch to you. So take advantage of that, right? But the truth is, you probably have more than that. You probably have people around you. You probably have mentors around you, potentially, maybe a coach, maybe you have, like, there's other opportunities. You have things that are working, right? Okay. You get my point. The last thing is, if you take action on this plan, if you start doing these things, start tapping into these resources, if you follow the acceleration loop, build a digital growth system, work through your lead leak model, what will success look like in 90 days? What will success look like? And then another question, it's not on here, but if you don't do this, my question is, like, nothing changes, everything stays the same. What's the cost? What's the cost? Like, what stays the same, and what does that cost you? How much money goes out the drain without return? How many leads get lost without being nurtured? Big question. Next step. You've seen the gap. You've seen the gap. We've talked about it. We've addressed the gap. Now let's build the system that closes it. Let's build the system. So option one for you is to keep trying. Just continued declining growth, wasting marketing spend, burnout and talent loss, increasing friction and blame, eroding brand and customer trust, financial feast and famine, and missing out on market leadership and your potential as a leader. That's not even on here, right? Or I want to invite you at this point, if you're still watching, if you're still engaged, take this, run with it, or check out this digital strategy workshop that we run. It's a workshop that we do in person with your team. I run it right now, and so now is a great time because I'm running it. And we do have other team members that'll be there, and I love this. This is one of my favorite things. So I plan to continue to run this over time. And but basically the point is to map your revenue model, find leaks, and build a path to 10x ROI. This is the starting line for real growth, and we're going to do real work. It's a 1.5 day. We do it in Scottsdale, Arizona here with our team, and you can bring your team. It's a great opportunity to get out of the office, to break out of your comfort zone, see some new things, feel some new things, interact in some new ways, and pave some new pathways. So if this is something you're interested in, scan the QR code over to wearestructure.com/chart to start to learn about what this is. Now, basically what happens in this workshop is we're going to clarify your growth vision. This is your 10-3-1 that I talked about. We're gonna start thinking in decades, not days. We're gonna align your team around the right metrics. What are the 1-year goals? What are the KPIs? What's the growth map that we're gonna go for? Identify those performance metrics, and then you're gonna get a done with you strategic plan. And so you're gonna walk away with a roadmap for growth. You're going to walk away with an acceleration loop and a digital growth system for your success. So the question is here, like, well, not question. I love the statement at the bottom. It's, this is more than a strategy session. It's a business transformation starting line. This is more than just strategy and ideas and planning. This is about the future. Transformation. This is growth, you and your team. So here are just some pictures. I want to prove it that we actually just have a really fun time too. So we do heavy work. We do a lot of work. It's exhausting, and we crush. But we also get dinner. We also we went on a wine tour. We usually hike some sort of mountain. Lots of things happen, and we have a good time. We get to know each other and push each other and challenge each other to grow. And it's well worth it. So here's that link again, if you want it. Sorry, probably went too fast. If you were trying to get it, it probably disappeared. So here's that link. Pause it if you need a minute to scan that code. Once you go to that link, it's going to just take you to a page that looks like this. And I just want you to see it so you're not surprised, is click schedule your free session. And it says this because the first step to doing the workshop is scheduling a session with our team. And this is where we talk about, what does it look like to go pro in this area? What does it look like to work together in this area? What does it look like to pave this new pathway? We're going to really dig in, gain clarity on your unique challenges, your unique situation, not just kind of a broad picture, but like what you are actually up against and the layers to that. We're going to identify the opportunities that you're up against and where you could go and what is possible. And then we're going to really recommend the next step. And that next step, if we are a great fit, which we suss out for sure, is like, if we're a great fit, it's really, we should start a workshop and talk about that. If we're not, we don't want to waste your time. And so we'll identify that as soon as possible, send you on your way with resources, free content from us, introductions if we have them, but just like encourage you to grow, crush it out there, and run what you're doing if it's already working or if you have what you need. But if you want any input, any advice, any ideas, it's free, no commitment, and we'd love to talk to you. And you know, the fear is that you're just going to get passed off to some salesperson that probably doesn't even work in America, right? And that's not the truth. This is with me or my right-hand man, Jackson, and we literally sit down and do a consultative session with you. And it's valuable. It's, it costs us about $500 just to run this time, energy, effort process. And so, but we want to give it away for free because we want to, again, be super valuable. So take advantage of that if it's interesting to you. So lastly, just thank you so much for this time. It's an honor, again, to teach today, to train. I love doing this. So join back, check out our other trainings. I'm going to be back every week doing more trainings, talking about these topics, diving into marketing, sales, diving into lead generation, diving into operational IT management and change management and growth in companies and how that all works together to drive progress forward, spark new growth, and create momentum. So we'll keep doing this. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.